of lies. You are listening to the John H. Project.
Trust no one. Trust no one. Trust no one.
You found it. You're here. You're headlong down the runaway train that is the Anomic Age, and I am your host, John H. Happy to be back with you once again in the almost dark side of the AM. Recording things in the not so dark side of the AM for you right now, but it's good to be back in the main seat. It's been a couple weeks since I really put out something decent, something good, something juicy, something of the newer variety. I've had so much mess going on, and I just had to take a step back from it all, folks. Not to get into the personal, but there's a lot going on the behind the scenes. And there's a lot going on in front of you, for Pete's sake. Good grief. Just the continued barrage of bull butter. The cacophony of creepy. I mean, it's just darn right ridiculous out there. Before I get into it, check out anomicage.com. If you've not already done so, please like all the likes. Excuse me. Subscribe to all the subscriptions. PayPal.me/anomicage. Patreon.com/anomicage as well. With any luck, this is kind of the last view of the page as it shall change. Hopefully here in the next 24 hours, 48 hours, we'll see. But I've been working on a lot. So, trying to change things up and do a lot of different stuff around here. It ain't gonna be the same, folks. So if you like the old Anomic Age, cheers to you. Thanks for tuning in and all that good stuff. If you'd like to adapt, improvise, and overcome, then we'll welcome you into the new age. The new Anomic Age, folks. That's where we're gonna be headed anyway. No matter what they say, that's where we're going. The new Anomic Age indeed. So we got that on the horizon, hopefully. And it's just a mess out there. I recommend everybody just taking a giant step or leap backwards and just not even looking at anything. That's kind of what I've been doing for the last few days and weeks, really. Just not looking at much of the jive turkey mess that's going on 8 days a week and twice on Sunday out there in the Anomic Age. In case you didn't figure this out, folks, that's the real deal, folks. It is Emile Durkheim's anomy. It's basically just, I would call it a clash of consciousness, where the world you live in is no longer matching up to the world you knew. It's a conflict in your hearts. That's what anomy is all about. I had a great I've got a nice image for it somewhere, but anyway, that's kind of the thrust of it, folks. It's morals, ideals, even dogma, just no longer matching up with the society you're in anymore. And, if you want to get deep into the pool of Emile Durkheim, it kind of culminates, crystallizes, or crescendos often in suicide. And I would probably argue that's where we're at right about now. We're at It is a global satanic death cult. It is a suicide pact with the culture. Because you can't say culture without cult, and that's exactly what we're in. That is precisely where we are. Let me throw some show artwork on the stage for you. Who cares? Lovely artwork by yours truly. I actually made this sheepers like months ago. Because I wanted to do a show just like this. And even months ago, I thought, maybe this is a little too dark. Maybe it's a little too black-pilled even for me. I don't think so. I don't think it is at all. So if you're not into reality, then this is your time to check out. No, don't do away with yourself. You could just find another show. And I'm sure Bongino's got something going on. If you remember my show a couple weeks back, the Controlled Bunch. Feel free to look into the Controlled Bunch. They got some great content that's probably Way more sunshine, lollipops, and it's all going to work out with Trump, and it's going to be a big reveal. And the reveal is the hot dog is you, you know? That old Reagan youth song. This time, the hot dog is you. That's true, folks. That's exactly it. Remember that part from The Great Outdoors? The great Dan Aykroyd and the late great John Candy referencing what's in hot dogs. If you know, then you know. And I would suggest that's exactly what's going on right now. That's what's up, folks. We are the hot dogs. Soylent Green is people. That is exactly what's going on. So the old Lily Tomlin quote, I can't remember how it goes exactly. You just can't keep up, you know, with the darkness in the world. You just can't keep up. And I don't even try. I try my best to not keep up. I don't want to, I'm not one of those people that shoving their head in their proverbial rump or in the sand like the old adage of the ostrich. I'm not that. No, I've seen enough. You know, everybody's seen a movie before, or you get maybe like a quarter way into it. Oh, I know what's going to happen here. There's no need to continue watching this dribble. That's kind of how I feel about the lifescape, the cultural landscape, the tapestry of turds that is America. That's really where we're at, folks. It's really where we're blipping at. So the title of tonight's episode, quite aptly, Who Cares? Who cares indeed? Who cares, folks? And that's the big takeaway that I think we've all gotten. If you don't grasp what I'm telling the general audience here, let me get this out of my ear. This is really bugging me. Thankfully, this serves no purpose now. I have no guest on. It's just me. So there's nothing to monitor. But if you don't grasp what I'm saying, I don't know how to help you. I can't, pull out the finger paints and make a turkey out of your hand and put it on a piece of construction paper and give it to mom and dad. I can't do that for you. But what I can do is talk to the general audience that is figuring these things out. And I say figuring these things out because it's an ongoing process. You gotta kind of work at it. And then you get to a certain point and you go, okay, I see what's going on here. I got it. You don't have to go down every rabbit hole. You don't have to open every link to really grasp what's up. Like Heidi Hollis and I were talking about a month ago now. It is a good versus evil thing. There's a war going on that most people are not aware of. Discernment is a real thing. I mean, that's why I've talked to numerous guests on the show and said, yo, man, I was looking into the released finders documents. I don't know, it was like 5-6 years ago. I don't even know. And they sat in my folder there on the laptop for a long time, and I would just kind of peruse a little bit of it and have to take a break. Peruse a little bit of it, take a break. That's nothing compared to what's coming out now. I mean, we don't even know the darkness of the Anthony Weiner laptop. We never will. But the social media, I would say in the last few weeks, has just been a spew with the refuse. And I got to say, man, I get everything's algorithmic. Everything's algorithmic. You know, if you're into tractors, your algorithm is going to have tractors in it. If you're into leprechauns, you're going to have leprechauns. So, I mean, I guess it's algorithmically based, you know. But the feed over the last week and a half has just been gross on every social media platform. And so much so that I just won't even look at much. And I'm just like, man, I ain't trying to see whatever this video is. You know, oh, man, I ain't trying to see any kind of kids being harmed. I don't want to see people in cages. I know it's dumb, you know? And at a certain point, and I know this might sound non-manly, you got to protect yourself. You got to protect your virtue. You got to protect your own mind and your mind's eye. You don't really need to see all that stuff all the time, you know? I realize apples and oranges here, but as someone that's a big horror movie fan, aficionado, and got quite a collection of them, man. At this stage of my life, I just don't watch them anymore. I just don't, man. I watch kind of the more campy stuff, the more mainstream variety, like like the Friday the 13th and stuff like that. That's just campy mess, But I don't get into the 2000s era fear porn of Hostage and I can't remember that stupid little want to play a game guy. I don't get into that. I got into it at the time. Oh, this is cool. Yeah. And then, like I said before, at a certain point, you just reach that Rubicon in your own self, I hope, and go, you know what? I'm good. I don't need any more darkness in my life. I'm all right without the darkness. I'll pass. No más oscuridad. Okay? And I've reached that point. But to keep saying point, more to the point, at this juncture, it's just downright crazy. And we've reached the who cares moment. I'll put a graphic back on the screen. Who cares? That's really where we're at as a society. And yes, there is a flood of influencers and social media acolytes and what have you that will just come on here 8 days a week and twice on Sunday and run through every single excruciating bit of it. Oh my gracious, what are we gonna do? Oh, the Epstein files, the children, por los niños. All this, 8 days a week and twice on Sunday. But where the rubber meets the road, there is a vacuous void of nothing. A morass of who cares. That's really what it boils down to, folks. A lot of people talking. But a little action. That's just it. So, not really sure what to say about all that. Except it's a big who cares. Every single bit of it is a big who cares. And I think one element of this is just the media landscape of the day where you are just flooded with everything all the flipping time. That the media cycle is about like the blink of an eye. The last show I did was on James Vanderbeek's death. That was about a week and a half ago at this juncture, I believe. But that didn't even stay relevant for 2 days, I don't think. Prior to his death, you saw some blips and blobs, and okay, he's not doing well, he's got cancer, he's sick, and blah, 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 blah. Then after his death, I think it was about a 24-hour real big push, and then maybe 2 more days, tops. This guy dead, and then that's just kind of it. So the media landscape is really at the blink of an eye now. I mean, even the Charlie Kirk mess is now, might as well be from 20 years ago at this juncture. Nobody gives a bleep. The guy was killed. We got no real funeral, no real autopsy. We know nothing. They've still pinned it on the 2.0 Lee Harvey Oswald. Nothing matches up. The evidence-wise, crime scenes destroyed. Everything has been thrown at this. From theories of exploding lapels to a guy with some sort of hand pocket pistol, palm, thing. Guys on the roof, guys behind him, guys underneath him. He's not really dead. It's all, everything has come out with this mess. And here we are at the end of the day. What does it really mean, folks? Did it mean anything more than just views, hits, likes, subscribes, and all that mess? No, it didn't. We've moved on. We've transformed and transcended. I'm talking about Charlie Kirk's death, and now Erica Kirk. Oh, my goodness. That's all we got now. End of the day, nothing's changed. Nothing changes but the date. As I always say, who cares? Who cares? So the thrust of this show was really going to be about who cares about everything that's been uncovered, revealed, or otherwise unobfuscated regarding the murder, the trafficking, the molestation, the rape, the ritual abuse, the torture, everything under the sun of children. This has finally been brought to light after Trump ran on this, told you this was going to get revealed, and then told you were a moron for even asking about it. Did everything under the sun to push back, obfuscate, sleight of hand, put it behind, everything under the sun to keep you from finding out about it. And you still don't know about it, folks. We still got stuff redacted. And again, here's the comedy of comedies with this. It's por los niños. Why exactly por los niños? Are we redacting files? Oh, because it would jeopardize the victims. It would jeopardize the families. What a crock of spew, folks. It's a whole big nothing. Oh, but there's a bigger plan, John. You're just not intellectually acute, astute, smart enough to see that it's really a bigger plan, yo. Q's got this. Trump's playing 7DG elemental P chess, and you're just too stupid to figure it out. Everything is a distraction. Oh, did you miss it? Oh, we're now going to war with Iran, I guess, because everything that we got told a couple weeks ago, oh, we got them, Bo. We took out their nuke sites, and they're not going to mess with a big old bull anymore. What a crock of poo. Just doo-doo. Oh, did you miss the Palantir, the digital ID, all that's funded? Yeah, by your tax dollars. And in case let's put this stupid on the screen. Let's put this moron on there. Oh, not that one. That's my show notes. What the devil? We got left side, right side. Which is which? The right collar worker, the digger, the ditch. Let me see if we can go. Oh, I know where we need to go. We need to go over here. That's the guy. We'll just go big screen. There we go. This is Fox News, and this is Mondami. Again, humiliation ritual after humiliation ritual, folks. You've got some Muslim fruitcake mayor. No doubt. This is all because of his mom, and he's WEF connections. So now Mondami is in control of the biggest city in the world. It's New York City, yeah. And now we're going to see, the explosion of the Muslim population in New York. It'll be gone a couple years. I mean, New York City will be gone in a couple years. You can't stop that. But anyway, Mondami is now requiring Social Security card, several forms of ID, and everything else for you to become an indentured servant in your own land. Because this is the comedy of comedies that no one seems to address in this. Everyone's quick to say, oh my gosh, Mondami, he's doing the ID requirements. And I'm like, folks. You missed the Peter Thiel Palantir connection to Trump and J.D. Vance. Did you miss that? It's all irrelevant now. Your face is the ID, folks. That's been the case for a long time. You're just now catching up. This was going on during Barry Soetoro's regime with the threat fusion centers all over the Southwest. Okay? Your face is the ID, folks. You don't even need a card anymore. They can track you in a blipping cave. Okay? They can send the Global Hawk or whatever's the newest incarnation of it to blow your little butt to smithereens. Okay? So the ID is kind of superfluous nonsense at this point. It's just really, the ID is something for the slave class to ooh and ah and freak out over when they've missed the forest for the trees. They've missed the forest for the trees. This is a joke. This is humiliation ritual. Again, this is Mondami saying, oh, to be a slave in New York City, to be a slave here because of the climate weapons, the geoengineering that we've tested out to, fro, and anywhere we want to go. Now, in New York City, they're saying, well, we've given you this big snow-in blizzard, but here's the best part, slaves. We're not going to clean up the mess for you because, after all, we're the aristocrats. We're the ruling class, and we won't send our support teams to support you. but you can get out there and do it. Yeah, I mean, this is Communist 101. This is proletariat bourgeoisie. This is forcing the slave class to be their own worker bees. It's saying, we're not going to care for you as the state, but you'll have to care for yourself. And the only way you can do that is with the ID, Social Security card, and 2 other forms of ID too. And then you might get a little bit of breadcrumbs. You might get some breadcrumbs, maybe some crusts, maybe some porridge, maybe some grog from the elites. If you show that you're a good slave and have your proper identifications and all your proper papers. Where's your papers? You know, where are all those people, the sycophant moron freaks that are so scared of Nazis everywhere? You remember that? Oh, the Nazis, there's a Nazi around every corner. Oh, the humanity. The humanity is now you're a slave in your own city. The humanity is now with weather weapons. We will force you to dig your own bleep out of the snow. And if you're real good, if you're a really good slave, then you might get some breadcrumbs. See how that works? That's what's going on in New York City. Under their communist fruitcake mayor, the Muslim Mandami. But don't worry, while the slaves are anchored down in Anchorage, give you a little Suzanne Vega reference there. While the slaves are just barely scraping by and up to their crotch in snow, don't worry, the elites are still going anywhere they want to go. Don't worry, if you've got enough money, you can go to Madison Square Garden and see the Knicks play. Don't worry, because the bread and circuses will still go on. The slave class is down there at the bottom. The bourgeoisie are at the top. And then you've got their little like demigod morons in the sports class and the entertainment class. I'm sure you can go to Broadway and see some real gay play too. So you can do all that in New York. Isn't that cool? That's really what's going down. So yeah, it's a big who cares, folks, because we've already moved past the Epstein files. The Epstein files. That's all we've heard about for bleep knows how long now, is these blamed Epstein files. Almost said X-Files. These stupid Epstein files. But it's a really big who cares. It really is. People don't want me to say that, and they don't want to hear that because it's por los niños. It doesn't matter, folks. It's never mattered. Ladies and gentlemen, the kids don't matter. Don't you understand that? I think we're upwards of 70 million murdered since Roe versus Wade. The kids don't matter, folks. They don't matter. There's still people in America that think abortion has somehow been banned in this snap hole of a country. It's not. We've still got the most egregious abortion laws on the books of all time. I mean, you can go third trimester in many states and still get your kid killed. But thanks to some sort of like, we'll punt the ball and throw it back on the states. There's morons on the left and ne'er-do-wells and nobodies on the right that think, abortion's just been banned. We won or we lost. It's just a big who the flip cares, folks. So over 70 million murdered since Roe versus Wade. It's just ridiculous that people think any of this matters. They really think the kids matter to somebody. I don't know who. You want to talk about the vaccine courts? You want to talk about that little goodie from Ronald Reagan just nullifying any responsibility to the vaccine industry? And if your child gets harmed by a vaccine, you got to go through 1,000 hoops, and maybe you'll get to go before a special vaccine court. And maybe you'll get some money after they've killed, ruined, whatever, your kid with the flipping vaccines. And we're talking the old school vaccines from the 90s and the 80s here. We ain't talking about like the new stuff that's actually just straight up death. I mean, we're talking about the old stuff, the autism stuff, folks. Blood-brain barrier thinner amongst males and females. Of course, you see a higher increase in autism amongst males. Speaking of somebody who's been around a little bit and seen some of this stuff in the room, Come on, man. There's no denying it, but people are still denying it. It's por los niños. Nobody cares. Who flipping cares? That's what's up, folks. Who cares? You want to jump the shark some more with me? You want to jump into the deep end of the pool some more? I mean, for Pete's sakes, North Carolina's still got areas that are just bleeped up from the floor up from the blame hurricane over a year and a half ago. Nobody cares, folks. Want to talk about Ohio for the train derailment and all the toxicity up there? That's been gone. Nobody cares. Nobody cares, folks. It is gone from the news cycle. Nobody blipping cares. Okay? Who cares? I don't know what was up in the feed a couple of weeks back. It was kind of a short-lived buzz, at least on my social media, with just like remnants, echoes, and counterfeits of 9/11. Oh, 9/11, 9/11. Oh, yeah, oh, 9/11, you know. And it was weird because I don't know what was the cause of this. Maybe somebody in the comments can fill me in. What did I miss that spurred this 9/11 intrigue for about 24 hours? Oh, my. Even had Theo Vaughn with a guy, a fireman from the 9/11 thing. He was on the ground and everything, and he was mad at people that would dare question whether or not anything nefarious happened. No. Building 7 had been burning all day long. That's why it fell. It's never happened before in human history, but I guess that's it, folks. It was an office fire, and okay, you know, not to throw shade at Theo Vaughn nor his guests, but I'm just saying, insert eyebrow raise here. Coincidental, isn't it? Countless people sick, dead, or dying from the the fun little goodies from 9/11. You know, all the fun stuff that was just released into the air, all the lovely chemicals and stuff. It's no big deal. Who cares? That's really what's up. Who cares? The innumerable amounts of death, murder, mayhem, and otherwise, you know, going on in Palestine. Nobody cares. I tell you what, we do care. We care about 6 million. Oh my goodness, I'm going to get a strike on that one. 6 million in this one Holocaust event in the 30s and 40s where this horrible man in Germany, the Austrian, Adolf Lewis. Yeah, that's what we care about. That's it. You know, that's it. Not the millions killed by Stalin, not the millions killed by Mao, not the white Russians exterminating the Christians, certainly not what's going on in South Africa, killing off the Los Blancos, certainly not Pol Pot, certainly not what happened in Cuba, certainly not anything with Benito Mussolini. Like, none of that matters. Like, I mean, there's just gaslighting of gaslighting out there where you can only care about certain things. So nobody gives a flying foo about anything I just talked about, but you are told, programmed, and otherwise controlled and manipulated into only caring about what you're supposed to care about, which, of course, will only last on the news cycle for maybe 24 hours, unless it's one of those aforementioned atrocities that's convenient and able to be discussed. You know, we're still harping on January 6th, and nobody wants to talk about the communist spies in bed with the Democrats. No one wants to talk about the connections to the Epstein files and the Democrats and the Republicans. That's all off limits, I suppose. I mean, Trump told you it's off limits. He told you are not real MAGA if you still question this stuff. Right? This press secretary is just defending it to the end. You know, the CIA director, the FBI director. I mean, everybody's on point with the narrative, folks. And who really cares? You want to get a little closer in history to the present day, then we have to talk about the hoax of all hoaxes, the COVID scam. The only thing that could have possibly outdone the hoax, scam, fraud, and false flag of 9/11 would be the scam of all scams. The COVID-19 falderall of turds. Have we seen anyone going to prison, to the gallows, or even to a hearing about any of that? No, not a blame bit. Nobody. Quite to the contrary, they've been given extensions and increases of their government contracts. Right, Pfizer? Yeah, Trump give all these people some more money. Sewer money. Doesn't matter because it's not even real money. It's ones and zeros that are just programmed in on a computer. It's not tangible goods anymore. It's not backed by Jack. It's nothing. So who cares? So during all that falderall of turds during the COVID hoax, nobody's seen the shadow of a courthouse. Nothing. You think Fauci's going anywhere? You're nuts. Oh, Comey. What about Comey with some of this Russian collusion? Yeah, he ain't going anywhere either, folks. Please stop being dumb. What about Bill and Hillary and Haiti and the child trafficking? Nothing. Nada. Nunca. No way, Jose. It ain't happening today, tomorrow, next week, or next flipping year, folks. Who cares? Countless people dead from the COVID scam, from the vaccines, from the ventilators, from the Remdesivir, whatever the flip it was. Remdesivir, there you go. Who cares, folks? Who cares? Life has moved on, time has marched on, and it ain't coming back. That cycle of news is not important anymore. Not important anymore, folks. You can go way back to Dresden. What about Dresden? What happened there? It doesn't matter. Screw them. Doesn't matter. Who cares? It's over, folks. It's a wrap. It's a done deal. Extermine. So that's kind of where we're at, folks. It's just kind of a big who cares. That's why I've titled the show, the episode of today is Who Cares? Because nobody cares. We got a lot of lip service. We got a lot of people talking. That's it, folks. Who we had? We had MTG. What the heck else we had? I even had some celebrity folks like Jim Brewer intimate, maybe we should just stop paying taxes. That'll show them. I guess. I don't know. Just more scam. There's more stuff that's, that never been ratified, not legal, not constitutional. It's a bunch of boo, folks. It's hooey. It's just creepy. In the end of the day, who cares? Who the stink cares? That's really where we're at, folks. But I want to connect the little dots. I don't want to leave you in the lurch here. Because all of these things do connect. And it really goes back to trauma-based mind control. Somebody out there is beating their head against the desk right now, and I hope you go unconscious. But a lot of it does go back to the trauma-based mind control, because that's really what we've been inundated with for so long, is trauma. And we get that trauma at a fairly early age here in Los Estados Unidos. I don't know if I'll pull this guy's work on the screen. I'd like to talk to this guy. I don't know, Dr. Roger McFillin. I saw something of his just recently. I'll put it on the main screen. Yep. I saw a little something recently of his, and I was like, dang, that's pretty dang prescient. That's spot on. That's right out of my brain. Roger? He laid this out. I mean, I've touched on this before. Heck, I've even talked to my child about this. Bambi's mother dies. Nemo's mother dies. Lord of the Flies teaches betrayal, savagery, and fear. From age 4, stories tell you people can't be trusted. The world is dangerous. Survival requires submission. And it diddly-do, folks. It certainly does, or at least if you believe the narratives that you are brainwashed with and taught, it sure does. I mean, I've joked with my daughter so much about the just craziness that I grew up with as a kid versus thankfully what she's growing up with now. Just stuff they just mentioned on the screen. I mean, I never saw, what's that stupid mess? Nemo? Finding Nemo? I never saw that crap. But definitely Bambi, one of those early movies I remember seeing at the movie theater as a child with me mum. And it was just straight deep into the pool from the jump. It was like, what in the fuck? The dang mom's dead in the beginning, and you'll notice pretty much all the Disney movies, and now they're the Pixar movies or the whatever, the flip movies. It's all the same crud. It's kind of the usual suspect theme, isn't it? The mom's dead, the parents are dead, and now we've got to get by without mom and dad. It's a recurring theme, folks. They won't give you like the real story of the Grimm's fairy tales, or they won't give you those Germanic tales, most of which have all been turned into Disney movies, sanitized for your protection. They won't give you that. They won't give you the Hansel and Gretel version of what's up with the witch taking kids and burning them in ovens. What's up with the look of a lot of these villains? What's up with that? I don't know. I can't begin to tell you. You might have to look for it on your own. But I think there's a whole lot to what Dr. McFillin is doing over there, or at least from what he's saying here. Terrified children become obedient adults. Folks, I've covered this on this show ad nauseum. That's really pretty darn accurate. So if you look at the trauma-based mind control that everyone's been living their matrix reality in for the last however many years, really since the advent of the television. I think that was the real differentiation between previous generations and current generations. It's the television. Because you can go all the way back to the assassination of JFK, and then you look at the litany of death in the 60s, and I already know this, folks. Just don't hit me up with this. I already know that all these figures in the 60s were just put there. They were all put there, folks. All right? I mean, Malcolm X, Boule, what's that other boob? Martin Luther King, Boule, womanizer, abuser, all this crap, communist, all this mess. JFK, most likely his gay lover on the side. You got RFK. You got every single person that they killed or were killed in the 60s and 70s and beyond. I mean, it's all the same old jive, folks. You want to go all the way up to John Lennon at the early 80s there. All of them. So we already know what's up. It's trauma, folks. It's trauma, 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 trauma. We want to go down the rabbit hole and look at the Challenger event. Everything that you've ever been taught now, don't even call it a real thing. Just call it an event. Because that's what it is. The Challenger event is as phony as baloney, folks. It's as phony as baloney. Everything that we've ever learned or been taught, phony as baloney. That's all I can say. I'm trying to keep the words clean, crisp, concise, and nice because I ain't trying to just go on a cursing tirade here. Gulf War 1, Gulf War 2, Gulf War 3, The Revenge. All of it, folks. All of it. It's just turd-tastic. Ridiculous. 9/11. You want to go back to 9/11-1. Ooh, 9/11, the prequel. Oh, we're almost there. We're almost there for the big event. And then we got 9/11. You got Ruby Ridge. You got Waco. You got Oklahoma City bombing. Death, destruction, mayhem, burning people alive. All that. All that was in the 90s, folks. That was the flipping 90s. Racist. Well, it was Ruby Ridge. It was like 89. Maybe it was on the cusp. I can't recall the exact date that Lon Haruchi gunned down a child. Gunned down a mom holding a child. I mean, all of it, folks. It's all trauma-based mind control. The problem is that the greatest attribute, and I would say, and I've said this so many times, the greatest detriment to humans is their ability to adapt. That's really it. Because we can adapt to anything. The most ghastly atrocities can become commonplace. And that's where we're at now. The most ghastly atrocities, murdering babies since the 70s. Commonplace. It's okay now. Pedophilia. It seems to be okay now. All of your celebrities, all of your stars, music, television, big screen, little screen, all of it. And I say all, I'm sure there's somebody not involved in it, but all of these people are involved in something nefarious, usually involving children. Politicians, right, left, center, it doesn't matter, folks. It just doesn't matter. Let's look up that one. Ruby Ridge. Holy shnikes, I was off. Ruby Ridge was 1992. I thought it was 1989. Shoot, it was 92. My apologies. Bottom line, point of this whole thing is it's trauma-based mind control. Our greatest attribute and our greatest detriment is our adaptability. We can adapt to the worst of scenarios. And apparently we can adapt and just go along with the worst of scenarios. Because now, nobody in 2026, year of our Lord, can sit here and say, we don't know, unless you're living on a rock, deaf, dumb, and blind. You don't know about what's going on. So I'll throw it back to Boys in the Hood, where Ice Cube makes in my humble opinion, the best line in the movie. Either they don't know, don't show, or just don't care about what's going on to the children. All this lip service is cute, but then what? And I don't have an answer for you, folks. Somebody out there is going, what are you doing about it, John? You going to stop? You going to get out there and you going to... Your guess is as good as mine, folks. If I had a plan, I sure wouldn't share it with him. If I had a group, I sure wouldn't be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, folks. I got no answers for you. The answers I got for you are the same answers I've had for you. Self-reliance, folks. Self-reliance. To thy own self be true. And I know there's some aficionados and prepper extraordinaires and experts saying, but John, you've got to have this vast group, this big connection. You've got to have farmers and doctors and plumbers and electricians and handymen and a whole blipping platoon with you. I guess, as the end of the world as we know it is on the precipice of a new horizon. You've got to have all those people with you. And you've got to trust them implicitly. And they've all got to be family to you, but not, like this. Man, I ain't buying none of this jive anymore. I've had it up to my nose with the bull jive. All of it. Everybody. There ain't nobody I'm saying, there's a sacred cow in the barn. No, there's not. I'm just sick of it all, folks. There's nobody that I'm on the payroll of. There's nobody I want to be on the payroll of. There's nobody that's in my close network that I'm just shilling for or anything else. I've had it, folks. So all that prepper lore and jive, all right, just shove that somewhere because I don't want to hear it. I'm done. Yeah, if you think you're going to survive the apocalypse with your huge platoon of every MOS with you. Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Get serious, folks. Bleep sakes, Jesus couldn't even find 12 good guys. You know what I'm saying? Jesus couldn't even find 12 good guys. And somehow you think you're going to come through the end of the world with all your big cadre of companions and it's all going to work out, right? Yeah. Who cares? Okay. At this juncture, you should know that all of those people are just a bunch of Boulder Dash. The food, air, water, and otherwise are poisoned. But that ain't even it, folks. It's not even the air, el aire, that you're breathing that's just poison. No, it's actually the waves, frequencies, and microwaves that are pushed through the air. That's going to kill you too. In case you didn't know that, all those big towers everywhere. There's one not too far away that's, of course, one of those obfuscated trees. Ooh. One of those fake tree towers. And I'm just like, what the? They're everywhere. They're everywhere. It's that old song. I can't remember. I don't know. The guy that had the song, they call him the Streak. Yeah, he did. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. Anyway, they're everywhere. So what you gonna do, brother? What you gonna do when the New World Order and DJT come down on you? That is the operative question, isn't it? Because apparently people ain't gonna do nothing if they're harming your kids. People ain't gonna do nothing if they're injecting your kids, if they're murdering your kids, if they're kidnapping, trafficking, raping, and torturing your kids. You ain't gonna do nothing. So all of this with the COVID hoax was really just kind of making sure that the American people were as soft as they thought. That's really what was up with the COVID hoax. It was like, man, I'm pretty sure that all the American people are a bunch of punk female dogs. But let's run this op just to make sure. Let's do a little temperature check. In basketball, they call it a heat check. I know I'm hot. Let me see how hot I am. I've been hitting 3 out of 5. I'm going to hit one more. Half court, you know. So it's a temperature check. The COVID hoax vastly was a temperature check. It was a temperature check to see how female dogged the American public was, but also it was a check to see just how gullible, stupid, moronic, idiotic, and otherwise a simpering slug the American public was. And we passed with flying colors all the tests. There was jackwagons out there with masks on. They were wearing a mask in the car, and there still are. They were following lines in the store like flowers for Algernon. They were not seeing family. They were letting loved ones die alone. They were canceling weddings. They were canceling funerals. They were canceling family reunions. They were doing it all under the auspice, guise, and otherwise words of the Borg. So they know what a bunch of punk bleeps everybody is, man. They know that. So now just the Epstein file trickle down is a big, who cares? Doesn't matter. After all, aliens are coming now. Aliens are coming. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. Aliens are coming. We're going to fight Iran, I tell you. Oh, in New York City, you got to get a car to shovel snow. You see, we've already moved on, folks. The Overton window has shifted. And perhaps more importantly, the media window has shifted. Every 24 hours tops, there's a new thing you're supposed to care about. So the kids are gone. The kids ain't important anymore. Just like the COVID hoax wasn't important. Just like the people that died from the vaccine, the remdesivir. Just like the 60+ million killed Roe versus Wade. Just like the false flag of 9/11. Just like the false flag of the Gulf of Tonkin. Just like the false flag of Pearl Harbor. It doesn't matter anymore. Who killed JFK? Who cares? Doesn't matter, folks. It doesn't. Everything's shifted. Nobody gives a bleep. I first started the show, I wanted to talk about all those hallowed events from the 90s. I couldn't even get the people on to talk about it. And when I did, nobody cared about the show because nobody gave a bleep. It was early for me. I didn't realize that the media landscape was over in 30 seconds or less. So nobody gave a flip about something that happened 10 years ago. Certainly not 20 or 30 years ago. It's just might as well be George Washington's wooden teeth at this point. Nobody gives a flip. So that's really what's up, folks. Nobody cares. And I'm not going to get up here and pretend and masquerade around and sugarcoat the medicine for you and pretend it's all going to be all right. No, let the flip out of here. I'm not going to pretend anything's going to happen because it's not. What will happen is the continued downward spiral of the civilization. What will happen is the moronic idiocy of the vast majority of the general public who still believes in voting, who still believes in writing their congressman, who still believes in you've just got to get up and work and pull yourself up by the bootstraps. And if you work hard enough and slave long enough, then my goodness gracious sakes alive, you too can aspire to lower class. And even lower middle class anymore. It's like lower class. If you're a real good slave, massa will give you a pat on the head. He'll let you go shovel some snow for him in the city. If you're a real good slave and work 5 or 6 jobs and maybe you can eat yourself some GMO and go see a propaganda-filled movie on the weekend. Oh, man. Don't worry, though. Listen to all the demagogues and the influences. They won't lead you astray. Goodness gracious sakes alive, folks. So, in closing, it's all kind of a big who cares. There ain't a lot of light in the tunnel, and there sure ain't any light at the end of the tunnel. So, what can you do, John? Not a bleep of a lot. Newsflash, breaking news. My favorite thing on the Alex Jones anything, it's breaking news. Breaking news. Someone passed wind in Oklahoma. Okay. Whoop-dee. Breaking news. Trump's really now funding and legitimizing Monsanto. I mean, it's breaking news. Like, breaking news. Now Monsanto has even more cover to continue poisoning the population with their garbage. That was like, 2 days ago? It was in and out of the news cycle like a fart in the wind, folks. It was like, what? Where'd that go? Iran time, UFOs are coming. Oh, where'd that go? Yeah, that's the deal. Oh, man. I can't even remember the name of the bill. It was some horse manure, titled mess. It was basically might as well have been the we're gonna poison you to death bill, and you're gonna take your medicine and like it, slave. That should have been the name of the bill. But nobody cares. You've got to keep going on to get along, because after all, you're not manly unless you go out there and eat some steak, and you're not manly unless you go out there with your big diesel truck with prosthetic testes on the back. It's such a retarded world where people on the right, or I guess whatever they want to call themselves, that's real manly and cool. And then you've got the polar opposite on the left, where you've got the most effeminate creatures of all time that are like these weird cucked, soyed out, like androgynous creatures with a bunch of holes in their face and like tattoos on their skull or whatever the flip. It's just like, ugh. But as usual, it's like this parallax view where those are the two realities of the world. Like, there's the most effeminate creature in the world, and then there's the most like braggadocious but soft as Charmin creatures on the right that are just, these absurd caricatures of themselves, but I would say a greater caricature just of reality. So that's like your two choices. But it's the same parallels in the political world and everything else. Like, it's always two choices. It's right or left. It's black or white. It's the binary opposition of Claude Levi-Strauss that we've talked about on this show before. It's downright silly. All right, I'm going to stop talking. I could talk for a lot longer on these topics, but I think we've circled the wagons, we've shoveled out the poo-poo, and we've discovered that there's not much you can do. Take care of yourselves, folks. Take care of your family. Most importantly, take care of yourself, man. I don't see or hear people say that enough. Take care of yourself. You need to take some time? Take some time. You need to go out and be by yourself? Go be by yourself. It's not always good to be with other people. People think it is. It's not. Family included. You sometimes need that space, some breath. Take some time. And don't tell everything to everybody. That's some more nonsense. The Bible says this too. If you've got great plans, keep them under your hat. That's a paraphrase from me, clearly. But just keep it to yourself. You don't have to tell everybody everything that's going on in your life. You don't have to say, man, I'm thinking about moving. I'm thinking about getting this job. No, forget about it. Just do it. Just do it. Don't talk about it. Just do it. I'm thinking about going on a diet. I'm thinking about joining whatever. Just do it. Okay? These are all things that you can do. If you want to pee-pee in the wind, then go vote. If you want to PP in the wind, write your congressman. If you want to do like the retarded things that we all got taught, like this is how you make a difference. It's horse feathers. It's horse feathers. Look around at the people who have made a difference and ask yourselves, did they do that? I can guarantee you the answer is no. Okay? No. So, don't believe the hype. Don't believe the influences. If you can find yourself a good role model, that's good. You know, everybody, I would say, at some point needs some sort of mentor. That's something you don't get enough of in life, is mentorship. That's why they've done away with the trades so much, because those trades required an apprenticeship. That's why they've done away with the strong male figures in the home. Again, mentorship, apprenticeship, role models. That's all been obfuscated. It's all been denigrated. It's all been cast into the dust bins of history. And don't worry, ladies, they did the same thing with you. They've taken you out of the home and into the workplace. They've done everything they can to make sure that both male and female has been destroyed and been supplanted by their version of it. The OnlyFans whores, these retarded sports figures, these morons with the big trucks and the big plastic freaking balls on the back, all that stupid horse piece. I mean, it's all just bunk, folks. It's all bunk. But this is the world you live in, folks. This is why I say who cares. This is why none of this matters. Nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to be, some great revelation. Oh, it's an awakening. I hear this bunk all the time, and I think this is just wishful thinking at best. This is like placebo effect. Maybe at worst. I don't know, folks. But I often hear this from everybody, right, left, otherwise. Oh, I can feel it's a disturbance in the force. Oh, we're on the precipice of a great awakening, John. Don't you feel it, lad? Oh, it's a rumbling. Like that old Bad Brain song, the youth are getting restless. No, they're not. The youth ain't getting restless. I'm sorry, HR. They weren't getting restless in the 80s. They ain't getting restless now. It ain't true. It's not. So do I think we're on the crux of some brilliant change? Is humanity waking up and we're all going to, grasp your metaphorical pitchforks and go to the castle? No, I do not. Hate to break it to everybody. Hate to be that guy, but I don't. I just don't. The stuff I see that matters versus the stuff that's mainly out there. So the stuff that's mainly out there that I get in my feed, my algorithm, is just right-wing crap. That's all it is, folks. It's right-wing garbage. Okay? That's it. That's the feed. And I'm sure if I was of the left ilk, I'd be getting left-wing crap. So somewhere in between all that, and I know somebody's going, oh, John, don't be lukewarm or I'll spit you out my mouth, says the Lord. Okay, I'm not talking about that. But I am saying that in general, people need to find their own selves, their own identity. And it shouldn't be predicated on the right or the left. It should be predicated on the truth. Not your truth, not my truth, not his truth, but the flipping truth. That's what's up, folks. The truth. The truth. So no, I don't believe we're coming to some great awakening. I don't think we've reached some anti-singularity zenith where everybody's going to just, 100th monkey click into gear and have some ancestral memory of the vestige of humanity that we once had. Oh my gracious goodness. No, I just don't, man. I do not. I think we're going to keep riding this horse until the horse is dead. At that point, it'll be too late, and I do believe that our goose shall be cooked at that point. By then, we'll be in a complete global police state, totalitarian dictatorship, and everybody will look, at best, like Hunger Games. At worst, just dead bodies everywhere. So that's what I really believe. People, just keeping it real with you. I ain't gonna be jive turkey and sugarcoating with you. That's what's up. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're just, maybe we're gonna tap in to the anti-singularity, the 100th monkey syndrome. Maybe that's gonna take place. Maybe our epigenetics is gonna click on, and we're just gonna figure out, oh my goodness, we're getting screwed. Let's get them. No, sheepers creepers. No. Okay, folks. That's all for now. I can't do anymore. You can't do everything, but you can do something. I'm not sure what. Get out there, do your part, make a difference, and I'll be seeing you sooner than later in the anomic age.
Thank you for listening to The Anomic Age, a John Age project. For past shows, further info, and to comment, go to anomicage.com. That's ANOMICAGE.com. Till next time, thank you for listening to The Anomic Age.
Thank you.